So we talked a little bit about layout and design. Let's go to the diagramming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to plus, and I'm going to create a new slide. So basically, I'm working with a piece of paper here, and something I've done for my kids is that we have a folder of images I put on Google Drive. This is a great way if you want to share resources for your students. You can build a folder and make it public, and then I just put it out here in infotech links for my kids to get here. And I put a bunch of crazy stuff in here for them to start with. If it loads up, some pictures I took, some terribly vain pictures of myself that these were taken by Bill Frakes, who's a Pulitzer Prize winner from Sports Illustrated, so to drop that name. This is from an Apple event, and they want to make you have a special, really professional looking thing. My advice is if you ever end up in that situation, go early and not when you've been in Arizona for a week and it's 112 and you haven't slept more than about 3 hours a night. So looking kind of rough by Thursday there. But anyways, I put these in here so the kids could have fun with me and whatever. So so let's go down here. I have this picture of an ant. So if I click that, I can download that ant. Okay, just downloaded there. I'm going to go back to Keynote. Now I'm going to go up to Insert, and I'm going to choose. And that ant is going to be right here in my Downloads folder. I'm going to close all these up so I can show you where those came from. So let's say we're working with learning the parts of an insect. So here we've got an ant, and kids want to show you what we know. So all I do is click text box up here. I'm going to get this out. Call this parts of an insect. Now, quick little keyboard shortcut. If I do Command D when I have something selected, it duplicates it. All right. So I'm going to bring it over here. Head. My buddy John Carippo from California, he always tells his kids and people he's working with that he who clicks the less wins. So keyboard shortcuts when you're doing a lot of work can really make a difference. So I'll do that. Anybody know what this part back here? Not but. What is this called? Nope. Well, abdomen, right. Abdomen. All right, here's, and then over here, got away from it. Here's your thorax, right? There we go. Thorax. So right there, we put together a really professional looking, tighten it up a little bit, a really professional looking, graphic to use with our kids or have our kids do those. Now, when they say, well, what do I do when I'm done? Well, you can have them, now we can start to trick out our presentation a little bit here. So the inspector over here is great. It's got all these different menus up here. And so this one that has the circle and the square, that's going to help me work with the shapes and the look and feel. What do you think the T does? Text. Yep. So let's work with our text here. So I'm going to highlight that. And I can not only change the color or my alignment here, but I can also space out, if I want, I can space out how that looks. I can make it really close. Okay. If you have your formatting menus, your formatting bar here on, then you have access to all this stuff. So here's your fonts. I'm going to make that font a little bit bigger, and then just drag the box out to keep it straight. Okay. They're a little bit bigger. I'm pretty happy with the, we'll stay with black there. Now, this is where it gets really fun for the kids. If we go to this little diamond that has some air behind it, this is the animation, and this can easily get overdone with your kids, but it can be lots of fun too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work here with each of these words on build in. So I click on build in, I get all these different effects I can do. So as I showed you in that intro, fire ant, you might as well make them flame. So you see the little preview up there? So head, we'll do that. We'll put a flame. Same with 6 legs. And with this here. Okay. So now when I press play and I press my space bar, now the different parts come in like that. Now the cool thing about this is that you have a share button up at the top. And these are all the different ways you can share it. You can share this as a QuickTime video. And so it'll turn into a little video clip that it starts off with the ant, and then each of those labels will fire in on its own like that. So you've got a little video clip. Then you can take that little video clip and you can send it over to iMovie. The kids can narrate over the top of it, do all kinds of things that way. Okay, so this is a fun way. Can be highly creative for the kids to use, and they don't all have to look the same. Okay, I'll show you a little bit more advanced thing you can do here. So I'll go back to this folder here, and let's see. We'll take this picture of the Allegan County Fair. Now another thing I can do is I can take 2 fingers and click on it, and I can just copy my image. So he who clicks less wins. I can come in here and I can go edit paste. That's a whole lot faster. Downloading, insert, come in there. So stuff that you find out on the web, you can insert that way. So here's the fair. Always a great way to start the school year.
Did you just copy and paste that?
Yeah, that's all I did. So from here, I clicked with 2 fingers on a Mac.
Yeah.
If I had a mouse, I could right-click it, and I get this.
Yeah.
So I just copied the image. Yep, and then jumped over to Keynote and edit paste, or Command V. So a lot faster. Right now, what I'm doing, not everybody knows that if you do Command Tab, you can jump through all the open applications you have. So I can jump back and forth now between my images folder and that other one. So let's take this one of me holding a sign, right? Copy that one. All right, now I'm going to paste myself into the fair. Okay. But there's a lot of junk on this. And a lot of times when you watch, it drives me crazy now. Let me show you. It drives me crazy now to see somebody put a piece of clip art into a PowerPoint that has like the white around the clip art stuff. And I have to give some credit to the people over at Holland Christian because I learned this from a Holland Christian 8th grader. One night, I got together with our youth director at Community Church of Douglas, and I said, I want to do this digital citizenship little intro to the kids and just kind of get them thinking about this. So I put together this whole keynote, and I go over there, and we're talking Facebook and Twitter and all this stuff, and they're kind of being 7th and 8th graders, and they're kind of watching. And I'm thinking, well, at least if I just plant the seed, then that's great. So we get done, and this girl comes up to me with this real urge that she can't wait to talk to me. And I think, oh, good, I connected here, all right? What do you want to know? She's like, well, like on your Facebook logo, and you had the white around it. So if you go to Instant Alpha, you can take all that white out of it, and it'll look like way 10 times better. And so I sat down and I had her show me how to do that. And now it's like the number one reason I use Keynote is because it can make something look so much professional, so much more professional. So there's an example of where you can really learn from a kid. So you see all this white background here, okay? I'm going to click on my picture, and up here at the top, there's this little magic wand called alpha. What alpha means is alpha is looking for the dominant color in this section here. So when I click and drag, it's going to take all that white behind me out of the picture. Whoops. See how my shirt's starting to turn blue? Turn yellow? Okay, gone. All right, so there I am. So that right there, that's big time. That's big time power Photoshop. Yeah, that's big time Photoshop money there that we just saved. Not having to do that. All right, but look, now we got a step ladder and a cord and a screen and all this stuff. Okay. The next cool thing that we can do is called masking, and you've got this mask button up here at the top. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to let me essentially just select what I want to be in my picture. Okay. So the step ladder and the screen and everything, they're now gone. All right. So there I am, and then when it's like they never existed. All right, I can pull this out here. Okay. And so now I have this sign, and I'm going to have a little fun with the sign. I'm going to go up to shapes. Yeah, hey, read my mind. So, all right. So I'm going to go here. This one helps me control all the aspects of my graphic, and so I'm going to change this to a color fill. Then I'm going to make that color white.
Is this a text box?
No, it's just a shape, but I'll show you, it lets you work it as a text box as well. Okay, I'm going to come down here to stroke, and I'm going to take the line off. So now I've got this white shape here. Okay, and it's not quite fitting. That's okay. If I go to the measurements, I can rotate it just enough to cover that up and nudge it over there. All right. So now if I double click in here, I can type will. Okay, now let's go back to text, because white on white's not going to work very well. Will work for corn dog. Okay, notice, see the plus? Plus tells me that I've got more text in this box than is visible. So I'm just going to click in this box. I'm going to do Command A to select it all. And then I'm going to go, let's see, 24 point will work for corn dogs. That's too big. So I want somewhere in between. Did you know if you just click in this box and type there, you can make it anything you want? There we go. All right. Now, if I'm at the county fair with a sign that says I'll work for corn dogs, it's probably not going to be printed that nicely. So I need it to be something a little more handwritten. I'll go to marker felt. There you go. All right. So now I could take this, and if I go to share, I can go to images, and this will print out at a high resolution, very nice high resolution picture. So what I've done in the past is I've taken a bunch of vacation pictures, and I put them all together in here and make really fun collages. You can layer and put stuff on top. Let's talk about that. That's something that not everybody knows about. If I click on an object and I go to arrange, you have these where you can layer them on top of each other. And the ability to layer is so very nice, being able to do that much. Okay, so you can line, you can get things really, really nice and orderly. Okay, now you might be thinking, well, that's not very academic. Well, no, but it's fun. And what I've learned over the course of this is when you're learning to do the technology skill, doing a personal project or a fun project, you and the kids are going to have a whole lot more invested in that, to learn the steps and skills than if they're trying to both half their mind master the skill of the technology, and on the other hand, they're trying to add in good academic content. And so if you give them a little bit of time to just play with it, or at home if you're doing something and you're learning to do this, and you want to work with vacation photos or anything, I call that independent professional development. Eventually it's going to impact learning. Eventually it's going to impact your teaching. But you can have a lot of fun and you can get really good with that stuff now. So we've only have 8 minutes left here, and I really want to show you what I was talking about with video. And your kids, without a whole ton necessarily of skill, can get in it and make fabulous stuff. One last thing before I get sidetracked. I put this folder of images up. Right now my kids are also working with video. Our 4th and 5th graders at both schools have this daunting task of creating a video yearbook by the end of the year, and so we've really focused a lot on video. I put this folder up. We could also call this the Tisha or Ray Bursma blackmail folder here. Okay, this is when at school just before Christmas we had a challenge. If the kids could line the perimeter of the school with cans, then a bunch of us would take pies in the face. So,
Stand up, Mr. Parker. Stand up.
so you can put video out for kids to have access to download. And so we're working in Keynote with this, and they're also working in iMovie. And again, it's that idea. It's a lot more fun to work with Mrs. Kothe getting a pie in the face, editing that video to learn it, than trying to balance something academically. But when you're ready to have those kids really express themselves, and you open up maybe a project and say, make me whatever, as long as it gives me good content, you have the potential to make something like this. So let's think Pearl Harbor here, okay? And we want the human side of Pearl Harbor. We see the images and see the planes fly over and the battleships and stuff. But if you go into Discovery Education, they have a number of videos, and with our subscription, we can download those and do all kinds of stuff with them. They have a number of videos of the survivors of Pearl Harbor. And so I found one, and so I've already downloaded that. I'm going to choose it here. Okay. And it's called Americans in Hawaii Unprepared for the Attack. And so you can put a video into a Keynote slide here. Okay. So I'm going to go now to my Keynote button, and I can edit that video by deciding where I want it to start and stop. Okay. So right here, okay, I'm going to start right here at 7:25 a.m. Now we're going to listen to Larry. Larry's going to tell us about this, and maybe, so now I've got, it's starting at 1:38. I'm just going to have a minute's worth of video here. Now I can also choose what that video looks like. This is poster frame, so let's find Larry. There, or Leon, sorry, Leon. Okay, and I can control that the movie starts when I click click my mouse. Okay. But this is terribly, terribly, terribly boring. So going back to that idea where I can convey a whole lot more than what I'm talking about or what the focus is, I'm just going to go to Google Images. Now you have to be extreme. I don't let our elementary kids go to Google Images at school just because of the insane stuff that for no reason can end up in there. And I tell them if they want to use Google Images, and they can do it at home with their parents or in a supervised way. But that's not a headache I want to have with them. I will at times sit down and use Google Images together with them. So I'm going to do just do Pearl Harbor, search Pearl Harbor, and I'm going to click on Images. Okay. But we're going to work in a little extra learning here on digital citizenship and copyright, how you can't just take whatever you want off the internet and put it into a project, especially one that's going to be published. Now, I took some liberties by getting those 80s movies pictures and throwing them in here today. This is a closed session, really, of, it's between us, and that's fine for your classroom purposes, I believe. But here we're talking about kids making something. We're going to share it out to an authentic audience, maybe put it on a blog or something. So we want it to be, legal and acceptable. So if you go to search tools now in Google Images and you go to usage rights, you can come down and click on labeled for reuse. And then now there's labeled for commercial reuse. So if you're building something, if you're making something that you eventually want to sell on Teachers Pay Teachers or put out there for download, you can legally get stuff that you can use that way. So I just want labeled for reuse. So I'm going to take this picture right here of Pearl Harbor. And I'm just going to two-click it, and I'm going to copy that image.
What was that option under? To label it for reuse?
Right here, if you go up here to Search Tools.
Search tools?
Yep. Now, it used to be hidden. It used to be an advanced search, and it took 2 or 3 steps to get there. But Google just recently, within a week or two, put that on. So we copied that picture. Let's get back to our Keynote. Now I'm going to do Command V, and I'm going to paste it here. Okay. And I'm going to make this my whole background. And then I'm going to go to Arrange, or if I double-clicked, I'm going to send it to the back. Okay. So now we've got Leon here, and he's going to talk to us about actually being at Pearl Harbor. Okay. I'm going to click on this and add a frame to it. Make it stand out a little bit. I can reduce the size of that frame right there. I can add a reflection on it. Put a shadow, make it stand out a little bit better. And I'm trying to figure out where the best part, I can resize him as well. Where we want him to be. Now, this image right here of Pearl Harbor it's pretty powerful, pretty amazing, and it's black and white. Okay. What's the effect that you can add to stuff to make it feel more nostalgic, though? Yeah, exactly. So if I select this and I go up here to Window, whoops, where is it? Is it View? Oh, View. I have a Adjust Image. So I have a pretty powerful I have the same photo editor from iPhoto embedded in Keynote here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up here to temperature, and I'm going to make it a little bit warmer. Okay. So now we get the brown, that sepia or however you say it there. Okay. Then we're going to add some text. And so one of the rules that I teach the kids is that we want to think beyond digital storytelling. We want to think cinematic if we're working with film here. So 2 rules about titles in cinematic, always change them. Either go really big or really small. So here, I'm just going to call this The Attack on Pearl Harbor. And I'm going to make this like 160 point. And I'm going against the clock here. All right, tack on Pearl Harbor. And then down here, I'm going to add another text box. Anybody know the date? December 7, what year? Yep. I had to look it up to make sure it was 1941 today. Okay. And now we can have work with the text. I don't like the black on the sepia, so I'm going to go, I'll pick a color. I'm going to go white. Crayon picker here. Go to a more book antique on that. Can add, do shadow. Can add a shadow on our words. Offset it more. Can blur it more. Increase that. And then down here, same thing. Book antique. Turn it white. Add some shadow and reflection off it. Okay. So now take a look at when I hit play here, and then I press my space
An
bar.
early morning church service is being held at the Kaneohe Naval Base. Turret gunner Leon Kolb is getting ready for his day on the USS Oklahoma.
And now I had my meals with the rest of the division. I'm back on the gun turret and getting ready.
And so you can use this to teach with, or now I can share this out. This will be a total QuickTime movie that'll play on its own. And this is stuff that would take you a long, long time in a movie editor to do that. One last cool thing that you can do is if you take a picture or a shape and you use one of the green colors, either clover or asparagus, and then you lay text over the top of that, you can share that out as a QuickTime movie, and then you can import it into iMovie or Final Cut and apply the green screen, and then your graphics show up and it looks like you've spent all kinds of amazing time on there. You guys, we'll finish up here, and what I'll do is I'll make one little tutorial of the green screen effect since we ran out of time there, but hopefully you picked up a few things today, and I'll post this video, this screencast here, on the blog, and you'll be able to go back and see it and do that kind of stuff. So thanks everybody, really appreciate it, and thanks.